guys and Happy New Year. Today we're here in Studio W in South Wales, and today we're going to be going over a few tips for the press to handstand. So for the press to handstand, you're going to need a pretty stable handstand to start with. So I'd recommend having a solid handstand of about 35 to 45 seconds. As well as a solid 45-second handstand, you're also going to need a pretty decent straddle and tuck handstand. We're going to be using the straddle position during the press to handstand, and I'll go more into why you need a tuck to handstand later on in the video. So we're going to start by warming the shoulders up dynamically. We're going to swing the arms in big circles forwards and backwards for sets of 10. You're going to do the same thing again. This time you're going to keep your fingers placed on your front delts. You're going to move on to the lower body now. It's really important you stretch out the hamstrings fully for the press to handstand. We're going to start by walking out into the push-up position and then back up into the pike position. Repeat for multiple sets. Single leg stretches next. You're going to bend the back leg while keeping the front leg completely straight, as well as a straight spine. To perform the press, you're going to need to be able to keep both legs straight while placing both hands on the floor in front of you. Now back to the tuck handstand. So the tuck handstand, this might not seem very necessary, but the reason we're going to use it is because in the tuck handstand, we're controlling the handstand with the traps, okay? This position's called underbalance. Because we've got so much weight here, we're using this part of the back to hold up this weight in the underbalance. If your traps aren't strong enough to hold the tuck position, you can start in this position, sliding your feet up into a straight handstand, back down into the tuck for sets of 6 to 8 reps. Hand positioning on the wall assisted press is really important. You want to have your hands further away from the wall than you would on a normal handstand, while keeping your shoulder blades firmly pressed into the wall. Keep your fingers pointed out, engage your traps and lift using your compression strength. Remain straddled at the top. Now we're going to lower our legs down towards the ground while keeping our lower back pressed into the wall. As the lower back starts to peel off of the wall, we're going to start lifting the legs back up towards the ceiling for reps. If you're not yet strong enough to lift from the ground, we can start by jumping our hips up against the wall. Perform 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps. Now let's move on to the compression strength. The further forward you place your hands on the floor, the harder this technique becomes. Try to remain leaning forward, keep your legs locked straight, toes pointed, and perform sets of 10 pulses. If you want to make this technique more challenging again, add in a 10-second hold at the end. Another variation of this technique is to straddle your legs wide, place both hands in the center, and complete another 10 pulses. The last variation is to straddle the legs wide, place your hands either side of the single leg, and complete another 10 pulses. Make sure to repeat the same thing on the opposite side. If you can hold your feet in this position, you're ready to do your first press to handstand. So the first tip for the press to handstand is that you need to start with your hips higher than your shoulders. As you can see in this video, my hips are stacked way above my shoulder line. For this reason, we want to use a narrow straddle, just wider than shoulder width apart. The wider you straddle your legs, the closer your hips will become to the ground, making them harder to lift during the straddle press. You want to have your hands slightly more turned out than you would in a normal handstand. Go up onto your toes, squeeze your thighs towards your rib cage, push down hard for your hands, engage your traps, lift your legs above your head, making sure to really slow down and control the last 45 degrees. So that's it for the straight arm press to handstand. If this has been of any value to you guys, please hit subscribe.